I used to help people. Guess who I am? I'm Princess Diana. I was born on July 1st, 1961. I had a big family with sisters called Sarah and Jane, and one younger brother called Charles. I had a pet cat named Marmalade and a few hamsters and guinea pigs. I lived in a park house. When I was 8, I went to Sheffield School, but since my parents were divorced, it affected my grades. When I was close to finishing school, I didn't like to cook or make dresses, so I went back home in England with my parents. When I was 18, I worked as a nanny for an American family and a kindergartner teacher. Later, I went to my friend's house, and we saw Charles play polo at a nearby park. I kind of liked Charles because he would call me to go for a walk or get some barbecue, and I would usually come. Suddenly, I became famous because Prince Charles wanted to marry me. Later, I got my own private room inside the Buckingham Palace. On July 29th, 1981, the wedding was declared. I had a long dress that was 75 feet long with ivory silk taffeta. The whole world was watching me. I was nervous. Here are 2 reasons why I was important and famous. I was important and famous for marrying Prince Charles and helping people by going on airplanes and going to Japan, Africa, and Italy sometimes. I had 2 sons named Prince William and Prince Harry. I died on a car crash on September 6, 1997.
Hello, my name is Nikola Tesla. I was born July 10th of 1856 in Croatia. People say that lightning struck when I was born. My father was a priest and my mother was a homemaker who invented small appliances. I grew up on my family's farm with my brother and 3 sisters. I used to make my own candles so that I could read at night. When I was 3 years old, I was petting our family cat and I saw sparks come from her fur. My father explained that this was electricity. My father wanted me to be a priest, but I wanted to be an engineer. It was until I was sick and almost died that he told me I could be an engineer. I immigrated to the United States in 1884 when I started working with Thomas Edison. I applied for my first patent in 1885. I am best known for developing alternating current electrical systems. Remember, from great moments are born great opportunities.
My name is Walter Ellis Disney. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. Time was growing rough in Chicago, so when I was 4, me and my family moved to a farm in Marceline, Missouri. I was very excited about my new home. I even had pigs. Sometimes I even rode on them. When I was a boy, I played Peter Pan in my school play. My brother Roy tied me up and the rope came loose and I flew into the audience. I've led a very interesting life. Many may not know, but I was an ambulance driver in World War I. After the war, I and another artist created Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit. I have faced some obstacles in my career. First was selling Oswald because I needed money to pay back the bank. After Oswald was gone, I created the famous Mickey Mouse. Before the mouse was named Mickey, I named him Mortimer. However, my wife suggested the name was too fancy, so she suggested Mickey. I had no luck selling my first cartoons in the theaters, but when I created Steamboat Willie, it was a big hit because it was one of the first cartoons with sound. Another obstacle I faced was almost losing Mickey, but my brother Roy made a deal so I could keep Mickey. I was looking to create something new, and that was the movie Snow White, the first Technicolor movie of its time. It was so popular, and it made enough money to buy a new studio in Burbank, California. I am able to bring happiness to people all over the world through cartoons, movies, theme parks, cruise ships, and toys. My company also donates supplies and food to those that are in need. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. And that's the life of
What is imagination? It renders Earth tolerable. It teaches us to live. It is that which penetrates into the unseen world around us, the world of science. Good morning, my name is Augusta Lovelace, but you may address me as Ada. I was born in London, England in 1815. My father was a poet and my mother was a mathematician. My father left when I was very young. My mother hired tutors to teach me math and science. She did not want me to become like my father. She thought that his creativity was something bad. Little did she know that I would need both my creative and logical sides to be successful. I have always been advanced for my age. Unfortunately, the men of my time have yet to realize everything a woman can do. This was the case when I was working on the analytical engine with Charles Babbage. For those of you who don't know him, he is the father of computers. The analytical engine is known as the first general-purpose computer. While I was translating the notes for the machine from French to English, I added my own thoughts and theories to the text. Have you ever heard of looping? Well, I'm the one who thought of the process that computer programmers will use in the future. When it was time for our work to be published in a newspaper, I was told by the newspaper editor that they would not publish anything written by a woman. And can you believe that Charles told the editor to put his name on there instead of mine? I almost didn't get credit for the work I did because of that. I had to use my initials only so the readers would not know that I was a woman. Although my work will not be recognized until the 1950s, long after I have died, without it, you would not be able to watch this video on your computer right now.
2, 1.
Hello, my name is Fedor Seuss Geisel, but you probably know me as Dr. Seuss. I was born on March 2nd, 1904 in Springfield, Massachusetts. I grew up in a house with my mom, dad, and older sister. Everyone called me Ted. When I was a boy, I loved going to the zoo and drawing all of the animals. I would even make up my own animals. I went to Dartmouth College and then to Oxford in England. That's where I met my wife, Helen. After graduating, we moved to New York City, and I made a lot of money writing ads for a bug spray company called Flip. This is one of the ads I made. It's called Quick Henry the Flip. Then I started writing children's books. I started using the name Dr. Seuss. Seuss is my middle name, and I added doctor because my dad always wanted me to be a doctor. My wife and I moved to a town in California near San Diego. I wrote over 40 books and won a Pulitzer Prize. Some of my most favorite books are Green Eggs and Ham, The Cat in the Hat, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and The Lorax. Lorax trees are not real, but I got the idea from my book from this tree that I could see from my house in California. This was the tree I could see from my house in California. The last book I wrote is Oh, the Places You'll Go. It's called Oh, the Places You'll Go. It is one of the most popular books given to high school and college graduates. People young and old still read and enjoy my books today. I'm sure you've read a lot of them too.
Hi everybody, we're going to study the chimpanzees today. Would you like to come with me? You may have guessed I am Jane Goodall. I was born in 1934 in London, England. When I was 1 year old, my dad gave me a stuffed animal chimp that inspired my love for chimpanzees. I still have it today. I've always loved studying nature, animals, and exploring. The story of Dr. Dolittle was my favorite growing up because he lived in Africa and could talk to animals. I would eventually get to do the same. In the 1950s, it was not common for girls to go to college or have important jobs like scientists. But when I was 24, I had the opportunity to go to Africa and study with Dr. Leakey, where I began my love and studies for the chimps. I got to study them in their natural habitat at the Gombe Stream Game Reserve in Kenya. I was the first to ever do this. They are amazingly like humans. It has been over 60 years since I began my studies, and I am one of the leading conservationists around the world. Not just helping chimps, but other animals too. You can even learn about animals and how to protect them by joining my worldwide Roots and Shoots Club for kids. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.
I'm Neil Armstrong. I will tell you a story of my life. First, I was born on August 5th, 1930 in Waukopenta, Ohio. I had a brother and sister. Their names were Dean and June. Then 17 years later, I went to college at Purdue University, and after that, I joined the Navy. I was trained in Florida in the city of Pensacola. Then North Korea invaded South Korea, and that caused the Korean War. That sent me halfway across the globe. And stop. I had 78 missions, and on one of my missions, I was attacked by enemy fire. And while my plane was nosediving, I had to eject out of the plane. But I survived the war and came home with a lot of war medals. I married Janet Sharon. We had 2 children. One was named Rick, and another one was named Karen, but I called her Muffy. After becoming a father, I applied to become an astronaut with NASA. I had to go through a bunch of wild tests, and now it was time for me to board the Apollo 11 spacecraft to the moon. Then I became famous for being the first to walk on the moon and for saying my famous speech, which was, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." I left a message that said, "We humans from the planet Earth stepped foot on the moon in July of 1969, becoming peace for all mankind." Then, 42 years later, I died at the age of 82 in Cincinnati, Ohio. I had accomplished many historic things in my life.
I'm LeBron James. I'm one of the best basketball players in the world. I was born on December 30, 1984 in Akron, Ohio. I was the most valuable player in the NBA Finals 3 times, in 2012, 2013, and 2016. I led my team to the NBA Finals and won 3 times. I also won 3 Olympic medals, 2 gold medals, and 1 bronze medal. The Olympics is a competition where every country's best basketball teams compete. When I was born, my mother was only 16 years old. She was so poor that she decided for me to move in with a more stable family. The youth football coach, Frank. In 5th grade, Frank pushed me to play basketball. This is what led me to play basketball for the rest of my life. Thank you.
My name is Mahatma Gandhi. I was born in Punjab, India, and I was born at October 2nd, 1869. I was married at the age of 13 years old. I am a shy ghost spirits and dark. On March 12, 1930, me and 28 other people walked 240 miles. They went. Me and 28 other people went to a bitty sea, and I fought for freedom of India. Mahatma Gandhi!
I've got something for the girls of Savannah and all America and all the world, and we're going to start it tonight. My name is Julia Gordon Lowe, but you can call me Daisy. I was born in Savannah, Georgia on October 31st, 1860. I have an older sister named Ellie and a younger sister named Alice. When I was a little girl, my father was a Confederate soldier in the Civil War, so I did not like the Yankees. But I found out that some Yankees were pretty great when I went to stay with my grandparents in Chicago. My mother's sisters and I went to Chicago because the Civil War made Savannah too dangerous for women and children. On the way there, I got very sick with brain fever. To keep me from getting sick again, everyone gave me everything I wanted and never told me no. It was great. After this, I didn't listen to the word no for the rest of my life. As I got older, I went to finishing school and then married William Lowe, who I love very much. One day, I got an earache, and I wanted to put silver nitrate in my ear to fix it. I had read that it would take away the pain. The doctor told me no, but I told him that if he would put it in, I would find a different doctor who would. Sadly, the silver nitrate ruined the hearing in that ear for the rest of my life. After my husband died, I traveled a lot. While traveling, I met Sir Robert Baden-Powell, who told me about his new club, the Boy Scouts, and his sister's new club, the Girl Guides. I thought the Girl Guides would be perfect for the girls of Savannah, Georgia, so I packed up, went home, and started troop. We renamed our group the Girl Scouts, and our first meeting had 17 girls. Today, there are 2.5 million Girl Scouts in the United States, including 18 in Holy Trinity's Girl Scout Troop 641.
On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
Oh, so sorry, I was working on my country's flag. Oh, where are my manners? I'm Betsy Ross, and I sewed the first American flag. I was born on January 1st, 1752. I died on January 30th, 1836. My first husband died, so I married again and had 7 children. When George Washington asked me to sew our first country's flag, I was so excited, so I got to work. On January 14th, 1777, I finished my flag. It took me a while because it took me a year to sew 13 red and white stripes and 13 white stars. I pricked my finger a few times, but that didn't stop me. I worked and worked until it was done. When I finished, I gave myself a long break. I gave my fingers and arms a break too. But I was happy it was done. I felt proud to sew the first American flag.
Why, hello, y'all. My name is Dolly Patton, and I'm 74 years old. I was born in Tennessee. I was very poor. When I graduated from high school, I moved to Nashville. I was so poor when I got there, I had to take scraps off of people's plates. I had my first radio appearance in 1956. Some of my most famous songs are Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, and Joshua. I'm most proud of my Imagination Library. My Imagination Library is a program to help underprivileged kids get books. This is how I earned the name The Book Lady. I'm also a great businesswoman. I own many companies. I also have a theme park called Dollywood up in Tennessee. I love to be busy. I do not think I'll ever slow down. I love my life. To quote one of my most famous songs, I hope life treats you kind and you have all you've ever dreamed of. I'm gonna leave you with this little tune. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare with flaming locks of auburn hair and ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile like the breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain. I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Goodbye, y'all.
Ready, set, green bean 47. Set, hot. No one plays football and baseball. Russell Wilson. Woo!
Russell Wilson is one of the best football players in the NFL. He plays quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. He was born in 1988. In high school, Russell played football and baseball and led his team to many Virginia State championships. After high school, Russell played football and baseball for NC State in Wisconsin. He visited his dad in the hospital, and his dad gave him a piece of paper that said, "There's a king in every crowd." Russell's dad died right after that, and Russell really struggled because his dad was his motivation. In the 2012 draft, Russell was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. He led his team to the Super Bowl in only his second season. Russell Wilson has been invited to his Pro Bowl every year he's played. And this last year's football card, this is my last year's football card that was signed by Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a leader and he is my favorite quarterback.
Hello, I'm Babe Ruth, a famous baseball player, known for hitting home runs and holding 3 bats. My real name is George Herman Ruth, and I was born on February 6, 1895 in Baltimore, Maryland. When I was younger, I always got into trouble. I had a big heart but didn't always think what I did. I even stole $1 from my dad to buy ice cream for all my friends. My parents sent me to St. Mary's, an orphanage for boys. While I was there, I learned to read, write, and play baseball better. When I was 19 years old, Jack Dunn offered me $600 a year to pay for the minor league team, Baltimore Orioles, as a pitcher, where I got the nickname Babe. After just 6 months, I was sold to the Boston Red Sox and became a Major League Baseball player. In 1920, the Red Sox traded me to the Yankees. That was a big mistake because they did not win another World Series for another 86 years. It was known as the Curse of the Bambino. I was traded to the Yankees, and even though my season started rough, I had 54 home runs by the end. The next highest person after me only had 15. When I was making $20,000 a year. I was a practical joker and always playing tricks on my teammates, such as nailing cleats to the floor and cutting the tips off their socks. I played on the Yankees for 15 years until I retired. I hit 714 home runs in 22 seasons, and I was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame. My biggest impact on baseball was that I changed the strategy of the game from pitching power to hitting power. See you on the field, and thanks for listening.
I'm Blackbeard. I'm the fiercest, most toughest, most terrifying card that ever was. This year's the Atlantic Ocean. I know these waters well. I was born on the other side in Bristol, England in 1680. I got my sea legs as an honest sailor during Queen Anne's War. At just 38, I was killed off the coast of North Carolina by Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the Royal Navy. Can't say I'm surprised. I was wanted dead or alive by just about every governor of the New World for robbing every ship I saw over the last 2 years of my life. In that short time, I built a pirate crew of 300 men, captured a small fleet of ships, seized more than 50 cannons, and looted more cargo than the ships could carry. Aboard my flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, pirate life was difficult, dangerous, and sometimes violent, but it was lively, profitable, and never boring. Though it was short, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. Besides, my legend has lived on quite vividly for centuries now. I'm the most famous pirate in the world.